Hi guys, Steve here from OddsPanda, and for this video I'm going to go through the 2-up offer, which is available on both Bet365 and Paddy Power. Now, the Bet365 site is the one I usually use it more often on, to be honest. A lot of people might well be gubbed with Paddy Power anyway, so Bet365 is the account I use for this predominantly. And you can see here that it's available on plenty of competitions. I would avoid League 1, League 2 and kind of small FA Cup games, EFL Cup games. So, you know, if a non-league team's playing a non-league team, I wouldn't bet on that, to be honest. I'd keep it to the large games, same as we normally do. Keep that account health. And I'll go into sizes, etc. shortly. Now, how this works is basically you place a back bet at Bet365, a lay bet at Markets or Betfair, the same as you would for doing any other sports offer. But what happens is if the team you've backed goes 2 goals up, so 2-0, 3-1, 4-2, etc., then Bet365 will pay out on that bet. So what happens then is we only have a lay bet because the back bet's been finished early by the bookie, but we still have a lay bet. Now, because we still have that lay bet there, we can take advantage of that in a couple of different ways. So this is the offer you'll see on Bet365 if you go on first of all, and on Paddy Power there'll be a little kind of alert saying early payout. So to get an idea of, to give an example, let's go on to top leagues, and there's a couple of games tonight. So here's an example of one I wouldn't bet on. For example, Canvey Island, Boreham Wood. You know, it's a small game. It might be on BBC or something like that, but I'm still probably going to avoid betting on that. But I've got couple of Serie A games, I've got a Spanish League game, and I've got 2 Premier League games. And for this example, we're going to look at the Leicester game here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the odds like I normally would. So Fulham, for example, 6 and 7. Now, when we're looking for odds, what you have to do is bear in mind that essentially what happens is we're making profit from the lay bet that we've placed. Now, the bigger the lay, the liability with the exchange, the more profit we're likely to make from this. So, as an example, if we're betting on Leicester and we do a £10 bet, okay, 1.53, and then I'll do a bet on Leicester here at 1.59. Now I've got the offer, so I've got 0% commission, but my liability is only going to be £5. So there's not a lot of room to manoeuvre there. If Leicester go 2 goals up, there's not really going to be any money for me to capitalise on. However, if we look at Fulham, who were 6 and 7, you can see that there's £51 liability. So obviously there's more scope to make profit from the larger liability. As a rule of thumb, I personally will generally look for anything that's 2.2 and above. And what you want to do is you want to mix up your stakes. You want to take varying odds. Don't only take really good matches. So 6 and 7. Now it's only an 85.7% match. Okay, so the liability is quite high. The qualifying loss is quite high. So if I put in £30, you can see it's £4. But it's £154 liability. And I'm going to use another calculator shortly to show you what happens if Fulham were to go 2 goals up. So, although I'm losing about £4 qualifying loss, you'll see why we stick to the larger stakes. So let's do that here. So I'm going to place a £30 bet on Fulham. I'm going to copy that, and you see it's dropped to 6.8, which is good. Nope. So it's reduced my qualifying loss a little bit, £3.50. Okay, so my bet's now placed. I've got £30 on Fulham, and I've got £30 laid at the exchange. Okay, My qualifying loss, £3.53. So later on, when Leicester and Fulham start playing, I don't have to do anything else unless Fulham go 2 goals up. Now what happens in this instance, and obviously the game hasn't started yet, so I'm not able to show you exactly, but we come onto PA and we come onto the advanced calculators, and we'd look for this one here, the early payout calculator. And then what happens is we type our stakes in here, 7-0, and you can see here, early payout selection triggered, yes or no. And if Fulham go 2 goals up, we want to click on yes. And then we want to type the cash out back odds. Now when a game is live, these odds will be continuously changing. Now if Fulham were to go 2 goals up, because Leicester are heavy favourites, the odds are likely to be around 1.4 as a back bet. So we start looking at the back bet, because we have to replace the back bet that Bet365 have already paid out on. We've already got a lay bet, so then we need to put a new back bet in. So let's say, for argument's sake, Fulham are 2 goals up and it's half time. Okay, so there's still 45 minutes left to play, and that's important. And the odds go to 1.4 as a back bet. We could type that in here. Okay. And you can see we're able to lock in £47. At that point, we could lock in £47 of profit from a £30 stake. Now, I'm going to show you what I meant by doing larger odds. Because if we did the same on Leicester, obviously we did the example with the £10 bet, didn't we? So £3.99, but the odds are very unlikely to be 1.4 if they're 2 goals up. The odds are more likely to be 1.1, and we'd be able to get £1. Okay, even if we did £50, we'd still only get £5. Okay, because they're already the favourites and heavy favourites. If the team is winning, the odds drop dramatically. 1.1 if Leicester were winning 2-0 would be generous odds. Okay, so we look for teams who are the underdogs, and even if they're 2 goals up, there's a chance that the favourite can still get back into it. Now this is important because we're looking at a point where if Fulham go 2 goals up in the 95th minute, Leicester aren't going to get back in, so the odds are going to be 1.01 for example, so there's no money to be made. But if there's still time left, then the odds might be 1.3. You know, even if it's 1.25, there's still £30 left to lock in there. So that might be when they're 2 goals up. Okay. Now, if Leicester were to score again, so now it goes to 2-1, and the back odds on Fulham will start to increase because there's less chance of them seeing the game out. Now we see this a lot recently. I'm recording this on 30th of November, and just yesterday Southampton were 2 goals up against Man U at half time and lost 3-2. And across the German, Italian, French and Spanish leagues, it does happen more often than you'd expect. So the odds might then raise to 1.8 or 1.9, and you can see as these odds start raising, the money that we can secure increases as well. So now we're up to 93.90 from 1.4. So you have different strategies at this point. So if your team goes 2 goals up, let's say we've got a £30 bet on Fulham and they go 2 goals up at half time, my cash out odds might be 1.3. Okay, I could lock in £37, but maybe I want to leave a little bit there in case Leicester score or come back to 2-2. So maybe I'll change my stake to £10 on the payout calculator. Now what this does is I'm cashing out £10 of my £30 stake. So I'm securing £12 profit, which covers my qualifying loss, plus another £8 or so, £8 or £9. Now, Fulham might go on to win 2-0, and I've made £8 profit. But if Leicester come back into it, and the odds start rising again, so say it goes to 2-2, and suddenly the odds are up to 5.5, I've still got my £20 left, and I can still lock in £95. Now I know this might seem like a lot of information to try and take on board, so for the first few offers where it happens, you might want to just do smaller stakes, and you might just want to cash out as soon as a team goes 2 up. So Fulham have gone 2 goals up, just lock in your £37. That would be a nice £34 of profit from the £3.50 qualifying loss. Be happy with that. That's a good result off a £30 stake. Okay, as you get more comfortable with the calculator, with placing the in-play back bets, you can start to experiment a bit more. So you can start to cash out half of your stake, lock in £18, etc. As a longer term way of thinking, what I want you to remember is, although your qualifying losses might look like they're quite high, so I might do £100 bet on a 3.2, probably not 3.25, 3.2. If I've got a feeling that that's a good chance of happening, so I think at the weekend Southampton were 3.6, 3.9, and I went £75 on them. So just under £6 qualifying loss. But I made £160 from it, because when it went to 2-1 I locked in £40. When it went to 2-2 I locked in £160, and Man U actually went on to win. The very last thing to cover is if it's what we call a full turnaround, which is where a team is 2-0 down and comes back to draw or win, and you don't do anything with it at all, you get your full liability back. So sometimes you might not touch this early payout calculator. Let's say a team has gone 2-0 up within 10 minutes against Liverpool or Man City. There's a good chance they're going to get back into it. If by half time Man City or Liverpool are then winning 3-2, you might leave that. Okay, you'd be more sensible to lock in the profit, but you might just leave it. If you're out and about and you've got some bets on and you're not able to use the calculators, if there is a full turnaround and the game ends, you get your full amount of the liability back, because the lay bet is betting against a team winning, and even though the team were 2 goals up, they didn't win. So lots and lots of ways to profit from this 2-up offer, but I appreciate it can take a bit of getting your head round. So my main points would be, start with smaller stakes, maybe 15, 20, £30 stakes. Find a point that you're comfortable with qualifying losses. I will take anything from £2 to £6 qualifying loss. But don't go mad. So don't start taking 3.6, 4.9. You know, don't go crazy. Stick to around, probably 90% at a minimum. 92, 93% upwards really you want. So the key with this is volume of bets. You might place 10 bets that lose £57.70 because you've had 10 bets and none of them have come in. But if you get one bet that wins and makes you £200, then you're still, £143 up from one bet coming in. So all you need is one bet out of 10, 11, 12, one bet out of them, and you'll be in profit. I'd have to go, 30 or 40 games without a 2-up happening to not make any money. So the more bets you place, the more 2-up bets you place, the more money you will make from it, because this does happen, and you don't need the full turnaround. You know, you can lock in, let's say, what did we say, 3.6, 3.9. You know, I could have locked in £56, and that would have covered 10 bets with £5 qualifying loss. Okay, so high volume, smaller stakes to start with until you get used to the concept of 2-ups, and then look for bets which are about 92% and higher, with odds of 2.2 and higher. Teams that are around 4, 5, 6 are fantastic because they often go 2-up, concede a goal, etc. Obviously, any other questions, any other queries, do ask away. One last thing, if you go onto the Profit Accumulator site, the forum, they've got a thing where people will post down any ones that they've seen. There's one with a chat, and there's also one without a chat, so you can see the Paddy Power Up is a no chat version, and they'll tell you can get an alert on these. So if you find the no chat version, and then you'll be able to see, there we go, so reloads, there we go, so people are posting if there's good matches, 3.2, 3.3, 1.8, 1.82, etc. So, you know, you still have to do a lot of your own searching, but it doesn't take long. Hit the volume. Any other questions, please do ask away in the comments, or send me a message within the group. And until then, keep safe everyone, and take care.